can't be moved. I never look back. They start creeping in, but I'm leaving them in the past. Don't tell me that I'm dreaming. Don't tell me that I'm wrong. 'Cause I've heard it all before. And just look where I am now. We can break the cycle. Find our own way out. Was the light at the end of the tunnel? So I look at myself. The ghosts are all around. The ghosts are all around. I've been down the darkest road. I know that it's true. So throw your dirt at me. I'll make it look brand new. They all know my name. Not an easy shot. Turn these tears into gold. They shine like what I've lost. Don't tell me that I'm dreaming. Don't tell me that I'm wrong. 'Cause I've heard it all before. And just look at where I am now. We can break the cycle. Find my own way out. Was the light at the end of the tunnel? So I don't give up.
Yo, 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 how is everyone doing? I think we're gonna ready up quite soon. I'm just gonna test out the microphone here a little bit to see if the qualities are quite alright. I should be doing that right now. I think so. Let me have a quick listen. Yep, seems all good. How's everyone doing tonight? The annoying thing that I'm having with YouTube is that usually YouTube runs a little bit behind, so I'm probably not going to be able to answer straight away to your guys' questions or whatever you have. So yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to answer directly, but I mean directly, straight away. Let's say it like that. So I hope my internet issues are going to be resolved. Well, hopefully they resolve themselves. But I think that should be no problem tonight. Tonight we're going to be racing around Monza. Quite a fun track, but turn 1 is just always chaos in lap 1 when we're having that start of the race. So hopefully it's not going to be too much troubles. I think around Monza we usually see a couple of crashes. Strategy-wise, I'm thinking about soft, medium. Medium hard could work too, but soft medium could definitely work around Monza. Especially with a 50% race and a short qualifying. I think starting on the softs and then ending on the mediums could be a good strategy. In case there is an early safety car, you would be able to go to the hard tires. So I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like we are ready to go here. So I'm just gonna switch over to that real quick. There we go. So I hope everyone is ready for tonight. We should be with 19 people tonight. We've got quite a few familiar faces. Sonic Hawk and Aldous, the V-Car. All those guys have been racing in Div 2 already. We're currently in round 5 out of season 15 here in Speed Force Racing. So hopefully the guys are going to be able to put something spectacular on track today. I'm just going to have a quick look at the standings. Just to see who is in P1, who's in P2, who's in P3, so you guys know that information too. So classified standings, here we go. Div 2. There we go. So Adams is in P1. He's got 4 points lead on Noldus. Then we've got Keeves in P3 with about 13 points on Adams. And then we've got Sonic Hawk in P4 and Mansell in P5 running behind by about 30 and 40 points. Is that 30 and 40 points? No, that's not 30 and 40. 20 and 30 points. And then we've got Mr. Wiggles in P6, Cassidy in P7, Dorn in P8, Utkarsh in P9, and then we've got Mindful Wasp with a surprising P10. I would say he's been doing a little bit better lately, but it doesn't look like it actually. DNS in Austria, he had a lot of points in Spa in Hungary, but unfortunately Belgium wasn't really that great. Utkarsh did get a bronze, a P3 in Belgium last week. And the winner of last week's race was Adams. I think he had done a great strategy there, and hopefully he's going to be able to do the same today. I'm just going to switch over to airplane mode, and then we are ready to rumble. So the first person out on track is Keeves, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not Keeves. It is a Aston Martin. So we're going to put the lap data on, and let's switch over to that Aston Martin. It is going to be Mark Querty, who's hopefully going to start his qualifying lap here pretty soon. I'm just going to have a quick listen whether you guys can hear the audio, because last time on my live stream from Friday, the guys were not able to hear my race time, so I'm just going to have a quick listen. Yeah, so they can, well, you guys can hear me quite well. Okay, here we go. Oh, airplane mode, of course. Mark Querty's still on the night lap though, as I think a lot of guys are on the night lap right now. It's not really... Good evening, Melissa, how are you doing? Come on, Keeves. We've got to come on, Keeves, in the chat. Keeves currently in P1. Let's focus on him. Let's focus on him. We've got a... Well, it's either a sibling or his mom or his girlfriend or his wife or whatever it is in the chat. So it is quite important that we show him on screen. But maybe he's a little bit nervous right now, you know. He might be nervous. We've got a couple of guys behind Keeves who are already starting to go. We've got a Williams driver coming past right now. Keeves in the Alpine car. I think he's in P3 in the driver's standings, but I'm not 100% sure. And he's coming around the last corner, going into fourth. Is usually the way to go. He goes into fifth, as that might be a setup thingy. Going down the main straight, the guys are usually running 0-0 setups, just so they have a little bit more straight line speed down the main straight here in Monza. A lot of straight line speeds, straight lines. Going into turn one, you want to go into second, and he goes into third. Quite interestingly enough, you won't have enough, you know, corner speed, like turn. You cannot turn fully into the corner when you're in third, because basically it's a corner which you can actually take in first and then switch over to second and third. Going into turn 4 and 5 right now. Beautifully done by Keys right there, and I think he had the fastest first sector too. So this is definitely a great lap from the Alpine driver going through this fast right-hander. Turn 7 right now. Doesn't take too much curve down the inside. Quite an awkward line there through turn 7. Going into turn 8 as he's heading into Ascari, I think the name is. It's that S section here in Monza. Left, right, left. And he takes it quite beautifully. Mark Querty with a 127.7. So that is the time to beat. He's going to catch a little bit of slipstream here from the Williams car. Nicely done by Keeves. Dynamite straight he goes. He still has plenty of ERS in the tank, so he can drain that all coming around that last corner. Gas with a 121.3. And Jineji comes across the line with a 119.8. But what will Keeves do? A 119, a 120.4, which will put him in P2. Jineji currently on pole here in Monza. Energy Dan is also on a fast lap, coming around turn 7 right now. Touches a little bit of curve down the inside, but almost spins into the wall. He recovers quite nicely. Noldus with the pole right now, 119.5. Beautifully done. Wonder if he's running medium TC or not. Who are you talking about? Utkarsh, you're talking about Keeves? Probably though, because the guys are... Well, the regulations state that after round 8 or during round 8, the guys have to switch to either medium TC or no TC. And I think a lot of guys are putting that into practice already. At the beginning of the season, we're currently in round 5, so only 3 more races to go for these guys to practice medium TC as Energy Dan comes back into the pits. Let me have a quick look with Calvin Racing here, coming around the last corner as the Red Bull driver, usually one of the faster guys out here. He's coming back into the pits. He's got a full tank of ERS. I'm not too sure what's up with that, as Oliver is going to be starting his fast lap right now. Has a lot of ERS in the tank. Goes into turn 1, into second. Takes a lot of curb down the inside. Might be a couple of tenths lost there, as there's an AlphaTauri around the outside there. He's leaving enough space for the Haas driver to come past. He mentioned he might try medium TC tonight. Fair enough. So Keys right now in P7 at 120.4. Not bad at all, but I do think he's going to be able to improve a little bit more during that second qualifying run here tonight. We've got 18 minutes in the short qualifying. We will only be having 1 qualifying session, as Oliver is coming around turn 6 right now. Takes that beautiful corner around the outside as he's heading into turn 7. Takes a lot of curb on the exit. Beautifully done by the Haas driver. Dynamite straight he goes as he's heading into Scotty. He's got that Alpine driver right on the left-hand side, which he doesn't need to worry about too much. Takes a lot of curb on the inside. Almost spins, and he almost spins his car. He lost it, but he recovered quite nicely. Takes a lot of slipstream from the guy in front of him. That is going to be his teammate. Goes down the inside, as that is a little bit team play from the Haas team right there, as I think Oliver is going to come down the line to put his qualifying lap on the board. It is going to be a 120.4 right behind Keefs, only by a couple of hundredths separated from each other. We've got 2 drivers on the night lap. It is going to be Adams, the driver's champion, well, the driver's championship leader, as he's currently wasting all of the fuel he's got in his car. That's not great for the environment, but who cares about the environment when we are racing, of course, here in Monza. Yeah, it was indeed a good save from I think it was Oliver, if I'm not mistaken, but also Energy Dan has done quite a similar save earlier. So Adams coming down the main straight right now. The guys won't have DRS down this straight, but they will have DRS coming down the start-finish straight, heading into that last corner right now. As that is going to be a good line from Adams, starting his qualifying lap. And hopefully he's going to be able to put himself on pole today and try to protect that driver's championship position, which he's currently in, going into turn 1. Hard on the brakes into second. And that's beautifully done by Adams. Could have taken that corner a little bit deeper. Well, not deeper, actually a little bit tighter, so he can take a better turn into turn 2. Heading into turn 3. And then we've got turn 4 and 5, which is, of course, going to be that left-right-hander. A little bit of a chicane. It's a fast chicane. A little bit like, well, a slow, I would say it's a slow Australia, heading into turn 8 and 9. And down the right-hand side. Takes a lot of curb down the inside. Might have almost lost the car there. Heading into that fast right-hander once again. Not too many corners around Monza here in Italy. I think it's only about 10 or 11. Actually 10, I think the last corner is turn 10. Let me have a quick think. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 corners, I think it is. Last turn is turn 11. I think the fewest corners on a track is Austria, with only 10, if I'm not mistaken. Heading into that long right-hander right now, and is he going to be able to put himself on pole? It's definitely looking like it's going to be a 113, 114, 115. It's not going to be pole, but it might be good enough for a top 5 position. It is not going to be good for a top 5 position. Puts himself right in front of Oliver, in between Keefs and Oliver right there, as that is going to be P9 for the Williams driver. Cassidy puts himself in P6. A great lap from the Red Bull driver, as you might want to focus on Calvin Racing, who hasn't put a lap in yet. Currently has started his qualifying lap. Not really, he's on a night lap right now. I really have to stop saying right now every sentence. It's really annoying me. I really need to stop it. My apologies, guys. I'm trying to do my best here not to say it, but it's really difficult. I'm saying it behind every sentence, and I really need to stop it. All right, Energy Dan starting his qualifying lap. Hopefully he's going to put himself somewhere in the top 10. He's not doing too bad in the driver's standings, but he can definitely need, well, he definitely needs some more points to be able to compete with the top 5, as he's heading into that fast right-hander. As that is going to be a good line from the AlphaTauri driver. Doesn't want to touch that curb down the inside, as that is going to slow you down a little bit. Heading into turn 4 and 5. And will he take the curb? Yes, indeed. He will only take that small sausage curb. Well, not really sausage curb, but like the colored curbs. As that is going to give you a little bit more speed coming through that corner. And then you want to take as many exit, well, as much exit as you can in turn 7. And then in turn 8, he takes as much exit too. Down the main straight, the guys will have DRS down this straight. So there is definitely a position to gain here if the guys are going to be driving closely behind each other. Heading into turn 9 and 10, and then we're heading down that straight where you will drain a lot of ERS, and I think Energy Dan has still plenty of ERS in the tank, and he should be able to perform a pretty good lap here, if I'm being honest. Coming down that last corner, turn 11 it is, takes a beautiful line, wants to go as tight as possible into this corner, and he comes down the line to put a 120.3 right in front of Shaggy, who put himself in P9. The grid is once again very close with each other, all the way from P7 until P13. They're the only difference about 3/10. So we've got 6 or 7 positions differenced by 3/10. I think it's what it's called. Sonic Hawk on a fast lap though comes around the last corner, but he's not going to be able to improve. So I think he might want to go for another one, but he doesn't have enough ERS in the tank. 2 seconds down on his previous lap as he comes down the main straight. Uses a lot of ERS and DRS, so he probably doesn't have enough ERS. I'm not too sure if he wants to go for another one. Takes a lot of curb down the inside. Once again, takes a lot of curb down the inside. Early on the throttle. Doesn't want to spin out, of course. Doesn't want to lose traction coming through turn 2. And that's where you want to go to. Well, you want to switch to third if you're running no TC. So if you're coming through turn 1, you want to go into second. Then heading into turn 2, you want to go to third. Calvin Racing puts himself on pole at 119.3. Not a bad lap at all, as I think that might be a good lap for pole. Well, for the provisional. Well, it's provisional pole right now, but for the official pole, I think that is going to be a great lap. 119.3 is the time to beat for Noldus, Adams, all those guys. Noldus just came across the line. He still has to start his lap, but it is Adams coming across the line with a 119.8. And Williams driver, not a bad lap at all, but I think he needs to be in that top 5 to be able to compete with the top drivers here tonight. As we might want to go on board with Yes as he comes down the line. He just finished his lap. I don't think it was an improvement by a lot. MCFC currently in the pit lane, retired though, as Ellie is on a fast lap. And she has invalidated her lap, so she's not going to be able to improve. As I think she might want to go for another one. She has a lot of energy in the tank. So I do think she's going to go for another one. Down the main straight she goes, as that is going to be the McLaren driver for tonight. DRS wide open, as that is hopefully going to be a good start from a good lap here for Ellie. Coming into turn 1, hard braking zone into second. Then you want to switch to third to take that second corner to have a lot of traction coming through that corner. Down the main straight she goes. Well, not really main straight. She's heading into turn 3. This is going to be turn 3 here. A long right-hander, not really a turn as you can take that full throttle, but it is kind of a turn. It's a long turn, you know. Heading into turn 4 and 5 into fourth. Usually the guys want to tend to take this into fourth, because then you won't have any troubles with traction coming through that corner space, corner section. Heading into fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Heading into that fast right-hander, turn 7 right there, as that is one of the most difficult corners on the track, in my opinion, from my experience. I usually always make mistakes right there, and going a little bit too deep onto the gravel, and then you're basically out of the race. Also, this corner section is quite a difficult one. You definitely don't want to touch any curbs. I think the track is a little bit more stable than the curbs are. Heading down the fast main straight right now. A lot of ERS is there to be drained, as she still has a lot of that in the tank. Coming around the last corner, this is definitely going to be a 120 point something, or maybe a 121. Ooh, this is going to be a 120. A good 120, a 120.5, which will put her in a P15. I think she could have gotten a couple of tenths off her time in that last in Ascari, but unfortunately that was not the case. A good P15 though. I mean, usually we tend to see Ellie more down at the bottom, but I do think she's going to be able to improve a little bit during the race. She's more of a consistent driver during the race than she is a qualifying person, so we're definitely going to see more from her later. As you can see, Wiggles in the gravel right now, being the lawnmower and the what else is there? What is the gravel? There's a lawnmower for the grass, and there is a something for the gravel. And he's definitely not going to go for another lap, I think. Although he has a lot of ERS in the tank, though. So I'm not sure if he's going to go for another lap here. Coming into the pits or not. He's not coming into the pits. He's going to go for another one. Still has 3.3, well, 3 minutes 30 on the time board. So I do think he was going to be able to come back into the pits, come out again, and go for another lap. Oliver comes across the line to put himself in P2, though. Not a bad lap at all. 119.4. Closes the gap to Calvin Racing, but not quite there yet. 2 more tenths there to be gained for Oliver. And I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to go for another one here, though. Probably doesn't have enough ERS, if I'm not mistaken. Cassidy, currently on a fast lap. Is he going to be able to compete with his teammate? A 119.9 is his time right now, so he needs to improve by about 6 tenths. And let's have a quick look if he's already been able to do that here in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Goes deep into that corner, probably invalidates, but he doesn't. Anime straight, DRS wide open, has a lot of ERS spare to be used. He's up by about 800, so it's not going to be enough. Cuts the corner in turn 9, and that is going to be an invalidation. So he probably wants to save some ERS down the straight here, so he can use that in another lap. We've got an Alfa Romeo passing the Red Bull driver. That is going to be Mr. Wiggles, and this is probably going to be his only lap to be able to improve. Is he going to be entering the top 10? I don't think. Well, he is already in the top 10, but I think he's going to be dropped down. Although it will be a 119, if I'm not mistaken. Down the line he goes, a 120.0. That will be good for an improvement by about a 10th, but it won't be good enough to go into the top 9. We've got Energy down on the fast lap, although I think he is not on a fast lap, but I could be wrong. Keeps have dropped down to P13. He is up on his time by about 6 tenths, though, so he will enter the top 10 here if he's going to be able to keep that position and that time. And down the main straight he goes. He takes that line beautifully right there as he's coming down the line to put a 119.7. P6 for Keeves. Not a bad lap at all by the Alpine driver. Cassidy is going to go for another one, up by about half a tenth here entering Sector 2. He's right behind that Alfa Romeo driver. I think it is Wiggles who's probably going to... Oh, almost impeded his, Cassidy's lap here as he's coming down the line, as that is going to be an Haas driver right in front of him. And that might be Mansell. He's on an outlap right now. Do the guys still have enough time to come across the line? It does look like it. As, from this point of the track, I think it only takes 20 more seconds before you cross the line. And he would have been able to catch a lot of slipstream from a lot of guys, but he didn't. Well, he chose to not to. Coming around the last corner. A lot of curve, but you really want to take a tight line through that last corner. There's actually a tenth or two to gain there. So 2 tenths of an improvement for Cassidy, only a P7, as I do expect a couple of guys to improve, including Noldus. As he's down the line, he's actually has a very close gap to the Aston Martin. So I'm really wondering when that Aston Martin is going to invalidate or is not going to be improving his qualifying lap. Will Noldus be a problem? Well, will Noldus have a problem? Because the thing is, if that Aston Martin is thinking, yeah, fuck this, I don't want to do it. And Ginergy right now on pole, 119.1. Good lap from the Ferrari driver, as the Czechian driver is going to be able to capture pole for now. Provisional pole, though. But Noldus, is he up on his lap? Let's have a quick look. It does look like it. He was very fast coming through that turn 7. And is he up in his time? Yes, indeed he is. 34 thousandths. He needs to improve a little bit more here in Sector 3. Beautifully done by Noldus. Beautiful corner section by the McLaren driver. Doesn't take too much slipstream from the guy ahead. As I told you, the Aston Martin, if he invalidates his lap, what was he going to be doing? Was he going to leave some space to... Oh, some beautiful tow he gets here from the AlphaTauri driver. Down the main straight he goes. Noldus, will he be putting himself on pole? No, it will be a P2. 2 tenths. Well, 1.5 tenths behind Ginergy, but he puts himself right in front of Calvin Racing. Sonic Hawk comes back into the pits. Cassidy is not going to be able to improve. Mindful Wasp has invalidated, and Mr. Wiggles comes back into the pits. Doran also invalidates, and that is going to be your qualifying here tonight. So Ginergy is going to be your pole for tonight with a 119.1. Not a bad lap at all, although I do think the guys would have been able to put themselves into the 118s if they pressured, or if they pushed a little bit more. And I think 119.1 is not the fastest lap, but it's definitely competitive, and it's definitely, you know, challenging for the other guys to beat that time. 119.1 also at the end of the session is also, you know, when you're in a formation lap, or not a formation lap, but like when you're in an out lap or an in lap or whatever, and you see Jinergy put on that time on the time board, you really think like, shit, this is gonna be hard, because you're on a fast lap, you see someone has put a better lap in than you, there's a new pole time, you're gonna be pushing yourself too much or putting too much pressure on your shoulders trying to beat that time. And I think that is the most difficult thing during the end of a qualifying session. Guys are always going to be able to improve, but the question is, how much are they going to be improved with? So Jinergy puts himself in P1 with a 119.1. Nolda's in P2, as I might need to delete my camera here. And there we go. So Nolda's in P2, Calvin Racing in P3, and further we've got Oliver Mansell, Sonic Hawk Keeves, Cassidy Adams, Mindful Wasp, Wiggles, Energy Dan, Shaggy, Doran, Ellie, Yes, the V-Car, Mark, MCFC, and Gogs all the way in P20. So here we are again, guys. By the way, thank you for everyone who's listening right now. I really appreciate it. Welcome, Martin. How are you doing? Top 4 are faster than me, Smoke says. Smoke, are you a Diff 1 driver or not really? Just gonna check out my phone here real quick, guys. I'm not able to watch anything on screen anyway. I don't think Formation Lap is on, is it? Oh, I've got 4 messages on Discord. I've got 3 DMs. Oh. Oh. Such a shame. A buddy of mine wants to make his own company. But he's only 16 and he thought he could make his company when he was 16, but he had to wait till he was 18. Ooh, a bit of a flu. Get well soon, mate. Hope you're doing, well, not as bad as the flu usually makes you feel. Are you, well, nah, fuck that. Never mind. I was gonna ask, are you working? Well, were you working today? But it's a bit of a weird question to ask. When we're waiting and we're waiting for the guys to ready up. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I need to sneeze, but I can't because my nose is blocked. Oh no, I can. Here it comes. Hold up. It's gone. Oh man, it really, I don't know, it mentally hurts if you cannot sneeze like you want to sneeze. I don't work, I'm naturally wealthy. That sounds interesting. Elaborate. Martin, I have no idea what you mean. Naturally wealthy. You don't work, you're naturally wealthy. Did you, how do you say that? Inherited? Is that a word? Inherited? No. Like, did your parents earn a lot of money and you what is the word in English? Like, you get money, you get their money when they pass away. What is the word? I don't know. Inherited? I think the word is, but I'm not sure. All right, let's have a quick look with the tires here. Ooh, a lot of different strategies. We've got Jinergy starting on the soft suite, definitely. I'm an old tycoon. Sold all my business. I don't know if I I don't know if I should take you seriously, Martin. Please elaborate in DMs. If you're being serious, elaborate in DMs because I have no idea. I'm an oil tycoon. Sold all my business. I have no idea. All right. So Jinergy in P1, starting on the soft, so that means he wants to keep his P1. Nold's on the mediums, and we've got Calvin Racing on the hard. So the top three is a little bit of a different strategy, and it's very interesting to see when there's going to be a safety car, because if there's going to be a safety car, I think Jinergy is a little bit in the advantage. Maybe Noldus if Jinergy is going to come into the pits a little bit too soon. Strategy-wise, the guys are suggesting soft mediums or medium hards. I could agree with that. The guys on the hards, I'm not too sure what their thoughts are here, because usually around Monza there's an early safety car, because a lot of guys are pushing and, you know, the tires are overheating a little bit. So usually around lap 10, guys are tending to cause a safety car. But yeah, that is going to be a good question for later. So Jinergy is going to put himself on the grid right now. Everyone else is too. Mansell is the only other driver on the soft tire, so he might make up a couple of positions. One on Oliver, one on Calvin, and one on Noldus. And now I race pretend cars. Martin, please tell me in DMs, because I have no idea what you mean, so I can ask questions. All right, we've got 5 red lights here in Monza for season 15, round 5 of the Speed Force Racing League. And down the line we go. We've got 5 red lights, and away we go. And Noldus makes the overtake already. Down the inside of Jinergy, passes the Ferrari driver already. Down the main straight he goes into turn 1, and he touches the curb a little bit too much, goes too deep, and he pushes Jinergy off track. Jinergy with a 3-second time penalty. He had to, you know, he gets that 3-second time penalty fair and square, but I think he had no room to go. Noldus makes the overtake on Jinergy anyway. Jinergy tries to make the overtake again. Down the inside he goes as he goes back onto the racing line, and Jinergy keeps the lead of the race. Energy then with a 3-second time penalty. We've got some up and downs all the way at the bottom. Sonic Hall drops back to P18 as we've got a little bit of a gap from P3 all the way to P4. 1.7 seconds already, as I think Mansell is pushing really hard. Made up 2 positions already. One on Oliver, one on Calvin Racing. Dynamite straight we go, and we've got a lead of the race by with about 3 people. Calvin Racing currently struggling to keep Oliver right behind him, as it is also Cassidy trying to get past the Haas driver, and also Oliver almost going into the wall. Mindful Wasp has made a little mistake. Cassidy down the inside there, going 3 wide into turn 13. Who is going to take the lead of this group? It seems like it's still going to be Cassidy. Calvin Racing, my apologies. Cassidy trailing by a couple of tenths here. Noldus with the fastest lap of 125.8. Not a bad lap at all. And here comes Oliver down the inside as he's probably going to try and make the overtake on the other Red Bull driver too. And he does indeed. Goes back onto the racing line, although he decides to take the inside line. Calvin Racing tries to go down the inside, but he has no room. And Oliver takes the lead of this group. Beautifully done by the Haas driver. And now he's going to try to make some space to these Red Bull drivers, and also try to, you know, close down the gap to his teammate all the way in P13. Mansell trying to make the overtake on Noldus down the inside, almost lost the car. And let's go back to Cassidy here, right behind his teammate, and it's a big group of about 7-8 cars. Keeves dropped a couple of positions, or did he gain a couple of positions? Not too sure where he was in the qualifying. He didn't gain a position, but he didn't lose any either. Dorn gained about 6 positions. Gogs gained 8 positions all the way from P20, currently in P12. And here comes Mansell down the inside into Ascari. Beautifully done by Mansell, as Noldus, he's kind of losing the toe from Jinergy here. The guys on the medium tires. I think Mansell is also on the soft tires, if I'm not mistaken. So he's definitely going to be able to close down that gap to Jinergy. Although the problem is Jinergy had a lot of qualifying pace, and now he has a lot of free air. So I think it should be no problem for Jinergy to keep this gap around 2 seconds from Mansell. Here comes Calvin Racing around the outside of Oliver. Down the main straight they go into turn 1, and will Oliver leave enough space for the Red Bull driver to get past? It doesn't look like it. Brakes really late and pushes the Red Bull driver a little bit wide. Goes onto the grass right now. They're leaving enough space for each other. Beautifully done by both of those drivers. A beautiful racing from the both of them. Now they're going side by side into turn 3, into turn 4 they go. They've got a lot of straight line speed. They both have equal speed. Into turn 4 they go. Will it be Calvin Racing or will it be Oliver? It will be Oliver down the inside right now as he touches a lot of curb. There goes Calvin Racing with a try to switch back. Beautifully done. He has the inside line right now. And here comes Calvin Racing with that move on the Haas driver. And also Cassidy is trying to benefit from the mistake from Oliver right there. Almost spins out the Haas driver as they are losing quite a bit of time to Calvin Racing as Oliver goes down the inside and makes the overtake on the Red Bull driver, but also the Alpine driver trying to make the overtake down the inside as he's not going to have enough space to make the overtake. Keeves drops back to P7 as it is going to be Mindful Wasp right behind him. Mindful Wasp takes out the Alpine driver. No, it's the Williams driver as both drivers are currently in the wall, dropped back to about P16 and P19. It is going to be Adams, the championship leader right now, who has dropped back to P19. So this is definitely not the race he has hoped to have. Mindful Wasp on the medium tires lost the car going through Ascari, and that is going to be race over for the Alpine driver, for the Williams driver, but also the AlphaTauri driver. And Noldus now trailing by about 5/10 on Mansell, about 3 seconds to Jinergy. Adams with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And is he going to be losing the race? He shouldn't actually. He needs those points for the Drivers' Championship. Cassidy on the tail of Keeves. Is he going around the outside? He's choosing the inside line into turn 4. And I think he's gonna opt out because there's almost takes out the Alpine driver and he's gonna leave space for him to recover. Energy Dan with a 122.9. He is on those soft tires. Quite an interesting strategy here from Energy Dan. We've got a lot of position changes. Also Oliver having a battle with Gox. Gox going into the wall, loses a front wing as that is definitely gonna be a safety car. This cannot be only a virtual safety car. We've got 2 drivers out of the race, Mr. Wiggles and Gox, and I think someone else had a big crash to Adams in P20. He's going to be able to recover quite well. Although there's only a virtual safety car, so I don't think we're going to be having a full safety car. Otherwise, the full safety car would have come out already. Just going to take a quick sip of water here real quick. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, you can. All right. Oh, Keeves with a drive-through penalty. No way. Oh, that is really bad. And Jinergy. Oh, yeah, he already had a penalty. I thought he had a drive-through penalty, too. Oh, Keeves already comes into the pits. He cannot serve it. He cannot serve it. What is he doing? Oh, no, he can. Wait, huh? They always told me you cannot serve a oh, that's weird. How is that only a VSC? Yeah, I have no idea. Those guys really... Yeah. If this would be a real crash, they were dead, mate. Red flag. I don't think red flags are enabled here in SFR. Oh, we've got a 3-way battle. MCFC trying to go down the inside. Leaves enough space for Ellie around the outside. As I think MCFC is trying to battle for his full-time seat. There has been some miscommunications with the admin team and MCFC. Ellie goes down the inside. Beautiful move there from the McLaren driver. Now MCFC is trying to benefit from the slow pace of Mark Querty. And Ellie makes up a gap of about 6/10 already. 8/10 already going through turn 6. As MCFC is still trying to get past the Aston Martin. As it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. He's stuck for a couple of more corners. After Ascari, he's got the DRS. Will he be going down the inside? Yes, indeed, it looks like it. Will he be going back onto the racing line? Doesn't look like it as he goes down the inside. Beautiful move there from MCFC and enough room left by Mr. Mark Querty. Oh, well, he makes a little mistake, and now it will be MCFC on the tail of the McLaren driver. Jinergy gets overtaken by Mansell. Interestingly enough, he already caught up to the Ferrari driver. As Mansell definitely has a lot of pace in those soft tires. Ellie with a little bit of a snap coming through turn 11. MCFC Dynamite straight on these hard tires. And does that mean that the hard tires are already a little bit better than the medium tires? Oh, red flags are enabled apparently. Ooh, interesting. That should have been a red flag in my opinion. Well, not this overtake, but of course what happened earlier. Let's go back to the top group. As it is going to be Mansell taking the lead of the race. That would be interesting if the red flag was pulled out. Indeed. Especially for you know... Ooh, Gox is left. Oh, yeah, he's already out of the race. Mindful Wasp with his fastest lap of 122.5. As I think Nold is kind of losing the toe of these two. Jinergy right now with a gap of about 1.3 seconds to Noldus. As Jinergy also has the DRS down the main straight. Of course, Noldus dropped out of that 1 second gap, so he wouldn't have the DRS Dynamite straight, and I don't think he will have the DRS down to start finish straight either. Sonic Hawk trying to make a comeback race work. He dropped back all the way to the end of the grid, currently already in P8. So not a bad race from Sonic Hawk trying to make a comeback work. He's currently right behind Doran, so that will be an overtake pretty soon too. So we might want to switch over to that after this overtake from Jinji. Although he's not going to go down the inside. Mansell with a lot of straight line speed, as it seems like he has made up a gap of about a couple of tens already. But Jinji was not able to recover that gap. Dynamite straight, he has an interesting line through turn 1, probably will lose a couple of tens, so you might want to go back to Cassidy, who's right behind his teammate. Will Cavalry Racing let him go through? Because Cassidy is on those medium tires though. So that is something to think about if I were Calvin Racing. Sonic Hawk now on the tail of Doran, as this will probably be a move pretty soon. Mark Werty also on the tail of Ellie, as I think MCFC has made the overtake on the McLaren driver already. As the top 3, actually, currently top 2. Jinji almost dropping out of the second of Mansell here. He will still have the DRS if I'm not mistaken. No, he won't. He doesn't have the DRS. Wait, the guys can already use DRS, right? There's the yellow flag in Sector 2. That is going to be a couple of guys crashing out. Cassidy currently in the gravel, as he's going to come back on track quite dangerously. He's leaving enough space for the other guys to get past, as he's going to drop back all the way behind Mark Werty, probably. Is Mark Werty going to make the overtake? Doesn't look like it. Cassidy dropped back to P12. Doran currently in P6. Interestingly enough, they're going to be having a three-way battle for the top 5 position. And I think Oliver has a little bit more pace than the other guys, although Sonic Hawk is definitely not to be underestimated either. And Doran Dynamite straight. Is he going to make the overtake already? He's going to go down the outside. And he's not going to go for it. Decides to back out of the move. And now it is going to be Oliver coming around turn 3. Let's have a quick look with the tires here, guys. Tire-wise, we are looking at a medium tire battle between Oliver, Doran, and Sonic Hawk. Shaggy is the other medium tire in the top 10. And then, of course, Noldus currently in P3. So Noldus is actually not looking too bad here. He's only got a 2-second gap to Jinji and Mansell, and he will be switching over to the soft tires at the end of the race. And that will be around lap 15 or lap 14, if I'm not mistaken. It depends on how good your medium tires are looking at. And that also reflects on how good your soft tires will be, because usually you guys want to, if your medium tires are still pretty healthy or pretty good to race with, you want to go a little bit earlier into the pit lane, because that means your soft tires are going to be great too. Calvin Racing now making a gap to... Oh no, it's Oliver making a gap to Doran of about 6 tenths, and also Sonic Hawk is kind of losing the toe of the top 2 right there. And now Jinji, he's going back and forth. Sometimes, he didn't have the DRS either, so I think he dropped out of the DRS coming into turn 11. In Sector 1, he's a little bit faster, but then he loses that time again in Sector 2, and then he gains it again in Sector 3, so I'm not too sure what setup these guys are running. I think Mansell is loading a little bit more wings than Jinji is, because you really need those wings in Sector 2. And yeah, you can see that Mansell pulls away coming out of turn 5, and then in turn 6 and turn 7, he kind of pulls a gap too. And now Jinji makes that up Dynamite straight, so that means he's running lower wings. He's probably either running 0-0 or whatever wings you're using on Monza. But yeah, look how much he pulls. Also with the DRS though, keep that in mind. He's pulling a little bit of that gap thanks to the DRS. It seems like there's a heavy battle here in P11 once again with Ellie and MCFC. Mark Werty kind of lost the toe of these two, but now Ellie, it's going to be her turn to try and make the overtake on the Williams driver. Back again to enter the top 10. None of the guys, well, not a lot of guys have got a lot of penalties yet, so that's quite remarkable. Doran now on the tail of Oliver. This might be a good overtaking opportunity. DRS wide open. What a beautiful line from Oliver there. Look how much of a gap he is gained here to the Alpine driver. And Doran, Dynamite straight, he's not going to be able to get that gap closed. He'll have to wait for another lap, and the more he's going to be behind the Haas driver, the more trouble he'll have with his tires, because he will have more dirty air coming around the corners. And if that's the case, you know, your tires are going to be fucked at the end of their stint. So, ooh, there's a good battle at the back here too. Energy Dan, quite of an experienced driver, trying to make the overtake on his teammate, but also Adams has got the DRS and the ERS. So Adams trying to battle for some spare points in the Drivers' Championship. I think he's going to be overtaken. Oh, there goes Mindful Wasp. Takes a 3-second time penalty. Goes onto the gravel. Leaves enough space for his teammate. And Adams makes the move. The double overtake on the AlphaTauri duo. Beautifully done by Adams right there. Let's go on board with Dorn here as he's in P6. He's going to be able to make the overtake on Oliver pretty soon. He's not going to have the DRS right now, but it will be pretty soon. I can assume that. Lap 10 out of 27. So still 17 more laps to be driven as he's right on the tail of Oliver. And it doesn't look like it's going to be as easy as it sounds. It's down the main straight. Oliver has such a good exit coming out of turn 11. And Doran doesn't have the straight line speed down the main straight to be able to gain that much time, although he does right now. Right the outside, beautifully done by Doran. Is he going to be leaving enough space for Oliver? Doesn't look like it. And he does what Max should have done in 2021. Leave some more space for Oliver to make the overtake. And so Oliver still in P5, defending with all his heart and all his car. But I don't think it will last too long, because at some point you're going to be making a mistake, and at some point you're going to be losing that position. But the question is, when is that going to happen? Certainly not now, as Sonic Hawk is trying to make the overtake on the Alpine driver. He's pushing quite a bit here, trying to push the Alpine driver into a mistake. Into turn 7 they go. A lot of curb down the inside. And look at that Alpine driver. A lot of curb around the outside. And that will gain you some more speed, because you can go earlier onto the throttle. Oh, Sonic Hawk! What did he do right there? Oh, that will certainly be a safety car, wouldn't it? Is safety car is off? Look at the car here. Oh, the guy... And that car is not even ghosted. How dangerous. 5-second time penalty for Jinergy. Oh, and also Mansell comes into the pits. Will they be going on to mediums? That is a good question, though. And no safety car. What is happening? So Mansell will go on mediums. Jinergy will also go on mediums. So that is a good strategy. But why is there no safety car? That is really strange. But the question is, what did Sonic Hawk do right there? Because Doran was just defending the inside line. Like, he didn't really move or anything. Oh, look at that. AKG making the overtake on Jinergy, and also Cass making the overtake on his teammate. So will Cass give the position back to Jinergy? I would say so, but there's two drivers in between Mansell and Jinergy. So I think Mansell is going to be able to pull a gap here to the Ferrari driver, and then Mansell is definitely looking for... Oh, he goes around the outside of his teammate. Almost cuts the corner there. It goes a little bit too much onto the curb and loses another couple of tenths to Mansell. But as I said earlier, like, Doran didn't move off his line, so I'm not too sure what Sonic Hawk was thinking. He tried to go down the inside. The room was not there. He wanted to go around the outside, and then he was just too heavy on the steering, bent it into the wall, and no safety car. Like, I really think that safety car... I really think that the safety car is not enabled, or the game is just glitched and there is no safety car coming. Doran down the main straight, he will have the DRS once again. Will that be an overtake? Doesn't look like it. Once again, Oliver with a lot of straight line speed. And these guys are running medium tires, so they will be having the soft tires later. Look at that beautiful line from Doran. Ah, beautifully done. Jinergy now making the overtake down the inside of MKG. AKG. MCFC. MKG. Ooh, too many too many letters. Ellie trying to make the overtake on Cass, though, and she didn't come into the pits yet. And Cass will probably be going on to medium tires, if I'm not mistaken. Energy Dan comes into the pits. His tires are going to be done. 11 lap old softs. As I'm just going to blow my nose real quick, guys. Here comes Ellie into Ascari. She seems like she's lagging a little bit, a tiny bit though. Where's Keefs? Where's Keefs? Oh, all the way in P11. I think he made a mistake earlier. Mansel's next target is going to be Shaggy, as it seems like Shaggy is leaving him through. Letting him through. Nicely done by the Mercedes. I think he's also coming into the pits, isn't he? Yeah, he is indeed. Mansell with the fastest lap. Jinergy is closing down the gap to the Haas driver. But the more he's going to be pushing, the more his tires will degrade. And that is not great for the medium tires, because they still have to go 13 laps on these medium tires, which is not great. Smoke, not sure what you mean, mate. My cam is always on. Shouldn't that be the case? Like, can I not blow my nose on camera? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I usually blow my nose on the camera because I didn't think it was something bad. Gas trying to go down the inside. Ellie leaves enough space. Beautifully done there by Ellie. But Gas did not go for the opportunity, as I don't think you need to go. You need to go for that opportunity into turn 6, if I'm being honest. Ellie with a little bit of a snap of the rear, but nothing too serious. Jinergy on the tail of Mansell. It's not going to be DRS wide open, but he might be closing down the gap a little bit more coming through turn 11. Oh yeah, no, don't worry, Smoke. I mean, yeah, I'm not doing anything illegal on camera, so. Jinergy going down the line. He's gonna have DRS though, which is great. But he used all of his DRS already. How much does Mansell still have? 35%. Look at that. And Doran on the tail of Oliver once again. These guys are gonna be battling till they die. Till one of them dies in the arena. And it's definitely not gonna be Oliver. Well, 14 lap on mediums is tough to race with though. They will certainly go with soft tires, and a lot of guys coming into the pits. Mark Worthy, the V-Car, Adams, all coming to the pits. Mark Worthy and the V-Car will probably go onto medium tires. If you start on the hards, you will probably go onto the medium tires, and yes, they do. Adams will be coming into the pits for medium tires too? Or will he be going onto the hards? Because I don't know if he used medium tires at the beginning. No, he goes onto medium tires right now. Doran Dynamite straight. He will have DRS once again, but it once again will not be close enough. How much ERS do both of the guys have? Oliver still has a lot of energy in the tank, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to keep these guys behind. It is going to be Mansell and Jinergy on the tail of Doran. And the question is, was Doran thinking about making the overtake on Oliver before those guys were going to be able to make the overtake on him? Because it definitely looks like he's going to be eaten by the lines. There goes Mansell down the inside. Beautiful line. And Jinergy goes around the outside. And it is going to be Doran coming into the pits. Beautiful thinking from Doran. Because Oliver will be battling with Jinergy here. And he's going to lose some time to Doran. Because Doran already came into the pits. He's going on to soft tires. He's going to be having such a big gap to Oliver right now, because Oliver needs to do his best of keeping the Ferrari driver behind him. And this is some beautiful team play from the Haas team, in my opinion. Mansell creating a gap to Jinergy while Oliver is holding up Jinergy. And in my opinion, this is some Perez kind of defense, if you ask me. Look at this. We might want to focus on the Haas driver, as I don't think that Oliver will have the DRS, or will he? Will he be having the DRS? Doesn't look like it. And he's going to go down the inside. Jinergy tries to go around the outside. No, Oliver chooses to go around the outside. Not a good move from Oliver. But will he be making the switchback work? Nah, he's not going to make it too difficult for Jinergy here. He should have gone down the inside so he can force the Ferrari driver a little bit wider. You don't want to play it dirty. But if I were Oliver, I would have played it a little bit dirtier just to secure a Mansell of getting that race win. I would offer myself just so Mansell can get that race win. Nolda's coming into the pits right now, and will Calvin Racing coming into the pits? Doesn't look like it. Calvin Racing goes another lap, as I think he wants to go onto the soft tires, or hopes there's going to be an early safety car. The guys right behind him are on the medium tires, 5 lap old mediums. It's not looking great for Calvin Racing. He's probably going to drop back a couple of positions. Nolda's come back into the pits onto the soft tires. So does Oliver. And where Where's Doran? Oh, Doran comes down the line right now. Will he be in front of Oliver? Doesn't look like it. Look at how much. Wow, Oliver had a lot of speed through that last lap. That is crazy, actually. That doesn't make sense. Is the undercut such a bad thing here around Monza? I wouldn't say so. The undercut is powerful everywhere on this game. That's weird. Well, Mansell is looking to make the overtake. He's already going for it. Danny inside. And that is going to be moved on for the Haas driver. And I think Calvin Racing was trying to, you know, kind of resist getting overtaken. But yeah, there was no point in doing that. Ginici now down the main straight. Will Calvin Racing be making it difficult for the Czech driver? I do think so. Or will he be coming into the pits? I think he should come into the pits. If I'm being honest, his hard tires are just done. He will have the DRS, but it won't be enough. Comes back into the pits, as that will be a pit stop for the Red Bull driver. Will he be going onto the softs? Possibly. But it will be right behind Doran, or maybe right behind Shaggy. I'm not too sure where he was before when he started on the hard tires, but he will have the advantage over Shaggy and Cassidy, as those guys are both on the hard tires. And also MCFC on the medium tires, so shouldn't be too much of a problem here for Calvin Racing. But let's have a quick look where he drops back to. It will be behind the Alpine driver, or will it be in front of them? It will be in front of them. Good strategy from Calvin Racing, and he's also on those soft tires, so it's going to be good for a P4 for Calvin Racing as of right now. Ginici also has that 3-second time penalty, which he might or might not be able to remove. It's a big if, you know, do the Stewart's thing that his penalty was deserved. I personally don't think so, because he got pushed wide a little bit by Noldus earlier. So I would say that, you know, remove the penalty. He got pushed wide. He gave back that position. If I'm being honest, he gave back the position. He just was fast enough down the straight that he was able to get the overtake done again. But 3 seconds just to cut the corner to avoid a turn 1 incident is, in my opinion, not fair. And I definitely think that Ginici should try to get it removed, but some drivers are just rejecting of getting penalties removed just because, you know, I don't know why they actually should do it, but I mean, shouldn't do it. Noldus with the fastest lap right now, 121.1, as there is someone in the pit lane. And now it's a safety car. Of course, Calvin Racing just came into the pits, and now it's going to be a safety car. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. So safety car situation, lap 19 out of the 27. As the top two, it's not looking great for them, is it? They should come into the pits, shouldn't they? They should come into the pits. 7-lap-old mediums, still 8 more laps to go. They've got a 13-second gap to the guys behind, and the guys on the soft tires will catch up eventually, and they will be faster. And it's Noldus on the softs. Noldus is a very fast driver, so is Calvin Racing, so is Oliver. So they should come into the pits. 15-second gap, they've got enough time. But the question is, will they? Ginici with that 3-second time penalty, will it get removed? Will it not get removed? He's the one who should come into the pits. Mansell has a little bit less to risk. Well, more to risk. That's how you see it. And he will come into the pits. What will Ginici do? He will come into the pits too. That's quite smart. That is quite smart. I mean, there was no point in not coming into the pits, was there? Now the question is, where will Noldus end up in? Ooh, it will be in front of them. It will be in front of them, but I think it's still going to be in front of the Red Bull driver. Wait. Why did they gain so much time to the Haas and the Ferrari? I think Mansell will be in front of the Red Bull driver, but Ginici won't. Oh, look at that. Oh, Ginici is stuck behind 2 drivers. Oh man, oh man. So Noldus' softs will be hard to work with, because at the end of the race they will be on 10-lap-old softs, which is going to be tough. Mansell will be on fresh soft, so he might be able to make the overtake already into turn 1 with a hard braking, like late braking. Could be done. And then Calvin Racing, I mean, 2-lap old softs, it's the same scenario as Noldus. He's going to be a little bit slower than Mansell. Same for Oliver. And then Ginigy, yeah, he has to hope for a mistake from Oliver and Calvin Racing so he can get back to Mansell as soon as possible. But it will be once again a very hard challenge for Ginigy to get past Oliver. Because Oliver is, of course, Mansell's teammate. And, you know, that's the thing here. In SFR, team play is such an important thing. Oliver, you know, he's going to do everything to keep Ginigy behind. And I do think that Ginigy, he's going to be stuck behind these two for a long, long time. I would say 2 or 3 laps. And at that point, Mansell is already up and away. You know, he's like 3-4 seconds of a gap, because the more you're going to be battling, the more time you're going to be losing. And if Mansell can make the overtake in lap 1 out of the, well, after the safety car already, he's just going to fly away. And the guys are currently right behind the safety car, so I'm just going to check my phone real quick, guys. My apologies. A buddy of mine was going to get his test results, and I'm really curious about what he got. He's not letting me know. That's not bad. Safety car is not coming into the pits yet, which is great. Have you guys seen the new Alfa Romeo car already? Well, it's not really Alfa Romeo anymore, is it? It's Steak F1. Well, or Kick F1, whatever their name is. Mark Werty gonna be a lamb to the slaughter here. Haha, yes. That's actually true. P9 right now, a medium tires, 6-lap old medium tires. He's got Cass behind him. MCFC, Cassidy, Adams, Shaggy, and the V-car. And Energy Dan on 1-lap old mediums. So I think he's just going to lose all of the positions and drop all the way to the back of the grid. That's just the thing. Oh, let's have a quick look at the position changes, guys. So three positions gained for Mansell, 1 position gained for Noldus, 4 positions lost for Ginigy. Look at Ellie, guys. 9 positions gained. And also Mark Querty gained 9. MCFC gained 8. So a lot of guys have done some good things here on the track. Are we going to be having one more lap? It does appear like that. So 2 drivers with a penalty. It is going to be Ginigy with that 3-second time penalty. But does he have another penalty? Let's have a quick look. No, it's only going to be 3 seconds, and also Energy Dan with the 3 seconds. What is this? Pit stops. So Mansell with 2 pit stops. Also Ginigy. Oh yeah, they went on 2 softs, right? Doran also with 2 pit stops. And then at the back of the grid, all the guys have done 2, 3, or 4 pit stops. The V-car only done 2, so not too sure why he's so far behind. Might have been technical difficulty. I don't know. Not technical difficulty, but like a crash or something, which held him up. Quite interesting to see what these last 5 laps are going to be, because usually when there's a late safety car, the guys are even more hungry to get a podium than they are when there's no safety car, you know. When there's just close racing, you're kind of going with the flow and all that kind of stuff, but now there is a safety car. All the guys are running around, you know. How fast are they driving? Like 100, 200 kilometers an hour, 200 probably. You know, they're thinking like, what do I need to do to get this P3? What do I need to do to get this race win? And they're gonna start thinking about how to get more aggressive into a corner, how to patiently wait. Well, not patiently wait, how to get as fast as possible in front of someone. And that's where your thoughts are running, well, taking the loose? Why do you say that? Running a loose? I don't know. Taking a loose run? Is that the word? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we're going to be seeing some crashes these last couple of laps. I can assure you that. That's with every league racing. That's with every league. It's just a thing. And we're going to be underway pretty soon. Let's switch over to the tires. And here we go. Coming around turn 11. As it is going to be Mansell right behind Noldus. Noldus with a great safety car restart. Oh, Mansell did not get caught sleeping. Dynamite straight to go. Will Mansell be already making the overtake? He's draining all of the ERS he's got. Dynamite straight. He will go down the inside and he will make the overtake on Noldus. Hard braking into turn 1. Noldus tries to make a switchback work, but Noldus is not going to be making up a position. Calvin racing in P3 still, and we've got Oliver in P4. Jinergy did not make up a single position. As I said, it's going to be such a hard task for Jinergy to get past Calvin and Oliver. Also because he's battling for a podium position. Well, they're both battling for a podium position right now. Oh, here comes Jinergy with a good line coming through turn 4 and 5. It's not going to be enough as he's trying to get past Oliver as soon as possible. Oliver, he's not going to give that up. He's not going to give this P4 up. Although he makes a mistake, goes a little bit too wide into turn 7, and Jinergy makes up a position already. His comeback race has started right now. 4 more laps to go. Calvin Racing defends the inside line. Jinergy was not close enough, though, as they're going onto the curb quite aggressively here, but they're running soft tires, fresh soft tires. Mark Werty makes up a position. MCFC, and they're running really close here. It's 3 wide coming down the straight, as Gas is having the outside line. MCFC is also trying to go down the inside. Both the Williams drivers making the overtake. A Red Bull driver almost going into the wall as he makes a little mistake. That is going to be Cassidy, as Shaggy now makes the overtake on Gas down the inside. And it will be both the Williams drivers making the overtake. Jinergy down the main straight, goes down the inside. Beautifully done, as that is going to be another position gain. And this next target is going to be Noldus, who's running 3-lap-old softs, of course. Well, now it's going to be 5-lap-old softs around the outside, as Mansell, he's about 1 second in front of Jinergy, so Jinergy still has a chance of making the overtake on Mansell. I think Jinergy is better at pushing, but Mansell is better at being consistent. That is the thing. Mansell is really able to, keep the same pace, lap in, lap out, while Jinergy really has that 1-lap pace, that 1-lap push, and hopefully they're going to be able to... yeah, I know it was top speed, Martin, but they were going through Ascari, so behind the safety car, so I don't think they were going 300 kilometers through Ascari. But I mean, it doesn't matter too much. Noldus trying to close out the gap to Jinergy, as he's still battling for that P1 though, but it will be hard. Let's have a quick look at the tires here. 7-lap-old softs for Noldus. It is going to be too difficult. Doran making the overtake on Ellie, but Ellie, once again, a good race. I think she gained 8 positions, came from P16 all the way in P8, as there's a 1.3 second gap from Adams to Ellie. So Adams actually with a good comeback race. Look at those positions gained. He didn't really gain a position, but at the end of the race, well, at the beginning of the race, he dropped back all the way to P20. He's currently P9, so he's gained about 11 positions. Noldus seems to have made an overtake on... no, it's the other way around. Calvin Racing making the overtake on Noldus, and here comes Oliver around the outside. Does he have a lot of straight line speed to make the overtake? It's going to be 3 wide into turn 4. Noldus trying to go right the outside, but he backs out of the move. Also, Oliver decides to go, back out of the move. And now he has a good line coming through turn 5. Is he going to go down the inside? Doesn't look like it. Noldus with an awkward line through turn 6. Into turn 7 they go. DRS wide open. I don't think the DRS is open yet. Well, it's working yet. It's going to be next lap. Oh, no, it is. Here we go, lap 25 of 27. We still have 2 more laps to go after this one. Oliver goes down the inside. There was a tiny gap around the outside, but he still he still went for the safest way. Noldus making the overtake around the outside into Ascari. Beautiful move there from Noldus, and now Keeves also makes the overtake. Oh, and Noldus in the wall, broken front wing. As I think Noldus kind of closed down the gap. But there were 3 wide, and Oliver was right in the middle. He couldn't do anything. And Noldus dropped all the way from a P3, from P4 to a P16. He's not going to be scoring too many points. We're heading into lap 26 out of the 27. And the penultimate lap has started right now with Jinergy with a 1.4 second gap to Mansell. Doran and Oliver having a heated battle. Oliver down the inside. It doesn't leave too much space for Adams. No, it's going to be Doran. And Noldus retired from the session in the pit lane. He must be frustrated. Ellie making up a position to Doran, as I think Doran got pushed wide a little bit by Oliver coming through turn 1 and 2. And he's going to be frustrated by a bit. Ellie cutting the corner as she's going to leave a lot of... Wait, didn't she get a penalty from that? How did she not get a penalty from that? And she's still in front of Doran. That should be a penalty, guys. That should be a penalty, let's be honest. she just went way too deep. And my prediction has come through. Mark Werty all the way in P16. Well, P15 after Noldus DNFing. He's going to be all the way at the back. He didn't run the right strategy. 11 lap old mediums. It was worth a try, but it didn't went his way. Noldus has left the session. And now Doran is trying to go down the inside. Wait! Adams has left the session! Adams has left the session! No way! Oh, man. If I had him added, I would have invited him. But he's... Oh, man. He's coming into the pits. No way. His AI comes back into the pits. No. His AI come back into the pits. Doran making the overtake down the main straight of Ellie. And oh, no way. Adams' AI comes back into the pits. Oh, that is such a bummer. That is so bad. That is awful. That is not great. All right, last lap. Oh, this is bad. He keeps on the tail of Calvin Racing. He's still battling for that top 3 position. I think Jinergy is going to get those 3 seconds removed. So for now, he's still... Well, professionally, he is on the podium. But I think once Jinergy will get that 3-second time penalty removed, he will be in P4 again, unless he can make the overtake on Calvin Racing. Dynamite straight they go. If he has a little bit of ERS saved, he's not having a little bit of ERS saved. He's 0% in the tank coming through. I was going to say Megas and Megas. Ascari, he's going to have the slipstream. He's going to have the slipstream. He's going to have the slipstream right now. Dynamite straight, using a little bit of ERS. Everything he's got in the tank right now. Around the outside of the Red Bull driver. Will he be making a switchback work? Doesn't look like it. Calvin Racing takes P3 here in Monza. Beautifully done by the Englishman. Keeves with a good comeback race. I do have to say that. Jinergy drops back to P4 for now. But he might be able to get that 3-second time penalty removed. Ellie with a good P7. Congratulations to the McLaren driver. And there's a little bit of a battle going on here between Gas and Mark Querty. But that is not going to be an overtake. Energy Dan drops back to P12, P13 possibly, and a P14 too. So, very interesting race here. We've seen one safety car where I think there were 2 crashes that were a little bit more severe. Is that severe? Yeah. And we didn't get a safety car, so yeah, I'm not too sure what I have to think about that. I'm just going to get my camera removed here so you guys can see the standings quite well. It's just for the admin team, of course. And then we've got Mansell winning the race. Beautifully done. He came all the way from P5 with a good overtake race. I do have to say that. Making the overtake on Gingy, making the overtake on Calvin Racing, and making the overtake on Oliver. Making the overtake on the guy who was in P2, which was Noldus. And, you know, Noldus was the fastest lap, though. But he retired in the pit lane, so he's not going to be scoring any points, if I'm not mistaken. Calvin Racing in P2, but could be P3. And then Keith's in P3, but could be P4. Jinergy could be P2, but he's currently in P4. Depends on whether he can get that 3 seconds removed. Then we've got Oliver in P5. Good race from the Haas driver. And then Doran with a good comeback race. Came all the way from P14. Currently in P6. Ellie came from P15 in P7 right now. So 8 positions gained. Then MCFC came from P19. So 11 positions gained. Further we've got Cassidy, Shaggy, the V-Car, Mark Rurty, and Yes. Also Energy Dan and Adams who have finished the race. Further we've got our DNFs. Noldus, Mindful Wasp, Sonic Hawk, Mr. Wiggles, and Gogs all the way at the back of the grid. So congratulations to the top 3, whoever that may be. Is it going to be Keeves? Is it going to be Jinergy? That is the question, but that will be for next week. Guys, I would like to thank you very much for watching the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Make sure to hit the subscribe button here on YouTube if you haven't followed the SFR channel yet. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. We still have many, many rounds to come, but for now, this is going to be me as your commentator. Well, I'm going to be there next week again, though. But for today, it is going to be me as a commentator. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to give the video a like if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. This was Sweepy Thomas as your commentator here in Monza Speed Force Racing. I'll see you next week. Peace out.
Burning in me. All of the noise turned into choirs of harmony. Left me with the pieces of forever that you broke. But since you left me alone, I've been